Hey guys and girls, welcome to my third E3 video. So today I'm going to talk about the news with regards to Nintendo Wii U games coming out. So for the first time, Nintendo did not have a E3 conference, which was surprising. But instead they did release a Nintendo Direct video, and the president of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, actually released a video talking about the new games coming out this year, and there are a lot of really good games that are coming out within the next year. So let's begin. So these are the original IPs coming to the Wii U within this 2013 or 2014. So let's go through. So first up is Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. That's coming out October the 12th. Super Mario 3D World. This is coming out December 2013. Mario Kart 8 coming out in the spring of 2014. Wii Party U coming out in October, and Wii Fit U coming out in December. He talked about The Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker HD edition, which is coming out in October. The Wonderful 101, which is coming out in September. Bayonetta 2, which is a Wii U exclusive, coming out in 2014. New game called X, also coming out in 2014. Super Smash Brothers, the new Super Smash Brothers, coming out in 2014 again. And then finally, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which is coming out in November 2013. So as you can see, there is a long list of original IPs coming out on the Wii U, finally. So it looks like all, Nintendo supporters and people that purchased a Wii U 2 years ago, hopefully their patience and will have finally paid off. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the games within the original IPs that did actually interest me, and I found myself relatively excited for them. So let's start first. So the first game that's coming out in the original IPs for the Wii U that looks really great and really sleek and nice is the Super Mario 3D World. Like I said, this is coming out in December, and it looks really good. There are some, the graphics of course look great. There are some new features with it, so you can play as a new playable character. You can finally play as Princess Peach, finally. And it looks like she's got some kind of like new floating ability with her skirt and everything, and that looked fun. Also, Mario has there's a new power up, which is called Cat Mario, and this is cute as anything. And it's basically you're dressed in a cat suit, and this gives you lots of new abilities. So you can now climb walls and shimmy across walls, which is fun, and also that gives you extra attacking ability. You can claw your opponents and so on. But the thing that really excited me about this new Super Mario 3D World was the fact that it is full player cooperative game. So you can play with 4 of your friends at the same time on the Wii U, and that looks really, really fun. And it looked like there are lots of cool little side games and missions and things that you have to try to complete cooperatively. So that looked great. Second game that looked really interesting for me too was Mario Kart 8. So I'm quite a big fan of Mario Kart, and they're always fun to play. And some cool new features have been included in this Mario 8. So you now have this new ability called Anti-Grav, which looks really cool. So you can drive along walls and upside down on ceilings, and that's going to make the routes and the racing tracks a lot more open and a lot freer in terms of like what direction you want to choose to complete it in. So that looks cool. You also have a new ability of gliding, so you can turn your car into a glider. I also did say that they were going to support the online multiplayer features a lot more and make use of the Wiiverse and everything, so that's cool. The other thing that also did interest me, and I was quite surprised by, is the new Bayonetta 2. So the thing I'm most surprised about is the fact that this is a Wii U exclusive, which is really surprising. So I am very curious how Nintendo managed to get that, because the Bayonetta series was quite popular when it was released, and it's a fun game. But they didn't show too much about it, just mainly a little bit of gameplay, though it was a little bit too short for my liking, and it was mainly CGI. But they did show that Bayonetta has a new hairstyle and new costume and new kind of style. So there isn't much information on it right now, but it does look interesting, and I'm sure like if you're a Wii U owner, then that's a really great exclusive that you're going to have on your console. The other game that I found really interesting was a new game called X, which is coming out in 2014, and that looks the graphics looked really beautiful. The worlds look amazing, and it's from the makers of the Xenoblade saga, and it looks to be a cross between kind of Zone of Enders, because you do have sort of mechs that you can get into and you can fly around. So it looks rather, Zone of Enders, not Gundam, but Zone of Enders style, as well as like Monster Hunter style, and a little bit of elements of Final Fantasy thrown in there. And they did sort of say this game was going to be completely open world and completely accessible. So it looked interesting, but it was mostly CGI. There wasn't really that much gameplay that was shown. So it'd be interesting to see what style of game it is. Is it an RPG game? I think it is going to be an RPG, but let's keep my eyes peeled on that and see what extra information they reveal about that. Then, of course, they showed the new Super Smash Brothers game, which is always a huge title to be released on the Nintendo consoles, and that's coming out in 2014. And they did show, which is really exciting, it's got new HD graphics, but they did show that the game was actually going to have a new playable character, which is Mega Man. So I know a lot of Nintendo fans will be super excited about that, because Mega Man is incredibly popular and a really awesome character from the looks of it to play with. They showed a little bit of his gameplay moves and his fighting moves, and they look really awesome and really fun to play with. So that's cool. And the last game that really interested me was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which comes out in November. And that looked really fun. I'm a huge, I really like the Donkey Kong, games. And it looks like a 2D, mostly 2D platformer. But it does seem to have kind of moving camera angles and a dynamic camera, so that it will change. And of course it is in HD, and the HD graphics look good and look crisp and look great. So Donkey Kong games are always really fun to play and really challenging, and so that game definitely looks good. So those are lots of original IPs that are coming out, and there are lots of really good titles there. Then of course they did also have a little section looking at indie games, and they're talking about how they want to support more kind of the digital developer community and have more downloadable indie games via the WiiU, the Nintendo eShop. So they talked about that, and they showed a lot of different indie games that are going to become available, and they look fun and they look really good. So anyway, that's a bonus. And then of course they talked about a lot about many third-party releases that are coming out, and that is one of the the biggest controversies for the Wii U, is that many third-party developers and recent games that have been released have said, oh, it's not coming out on the Wii U. We're not a supporter of the Wii U. I think particularly EA, is it EA? EA and Nintendo at the moment really don't have the best relationship and whatnot. But they did talk about a lot of third-party releases that are coming out, and a lot of them, I'm glad to see, are big name titles. So that's that's really, really great if you're a Wii U owner. So let me go through the list of some of the games coming out this year and next year on the Wii U third-party releases. So they talked about Batman Arkham Origins is coming to the Wii U, Splinter Cell Blacklist, Rayman Legends, Watch Dogs, great, Just Dance 2014, Sonic Lost World is coming. That game looked really fun. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is coming. Deus Ex Human Revolution, the director's cut, is coming to it. Disney Infinity, Disney Planes, and they named a number of others too. But it is really great to see that third-party developers are coming to the Wii U, and that if you're a Wii U owner, you're going to get to play some of the bigger name games coming out. So those are all the games basically that they mentioned. So, which is great. So finally you can see that a lot of the big titles people have been waiting for are coming out, which is fantastic. So what was good about Nintendo Direct, the actual video? Well, the first thing that I liked is that they actually apologized to the customer. And they did apologize, and they did say, we're very sorry that there has been such a huge delay in the release of, really, important key titles for the Wii U. And that has been a big issue. The Wii U came out 2 years ago, and there really have not been any decent you know, original IPs coming and big titles coming to the Wii U. So the first thing that they did is they did apologize, which was really nice, and they did thank the customer for their patience in waiting for these games. And that's really great that Nintendo can admit that they did make a mistake, you know, in terms of marketing, and that they're trying to correct that. So that's fantastic. The second thing that I thought was really good was that they actually, there's some really good IPs coming out, lots of really great titles coming out, and that they actually gave definite release dates for these games, which is fantastic. For all of the games, they gave, you know, a rough release date, you know, whether it's coming out in 2013, whether it's coming out in 2014. And that's really great because it gives the gamers a good idea of when they can buy games, when they're going to be available, and they can start to think about, you know, money and so on. It does worry me, however, that a lot of their big titles, so for example, let's see, The Wonderful 101 is coming out in September. Legends of Zelda is coming out in October. As well as Pokemon X and Y in October. And it does worry me a little bit because they're coming out at the same time as, you know, some big name games are being released by Sony and Microsoft. And it's a little worrying that some of the Wii U games are going to be kind of undermined by that with regards to, you know, competing with other big titles at that time. Of course, most of the Nintendo, you know, fans will probably purchase those games, but it is going to limit them, and it is worrying whether they can compete with some of the bigger name titles coming out. But anyway, the other thing that I really liked was they actually showed a lot of gameplay footage, and that's really great. And that's, you know, I kind of had a beef about that especially with Xbox One and Microsoft, and a little bit Sony, but mainly Microsoft, have mostly showing CGI trailers, and that is not really what we want to be seeing at E3. We want to see gameplay. We want to see what does the gameplay look like, so we can get an idea of the game and whether we want to, you know, whether it's a game we want to purchase or it's a game we're interested in. And so that's really great that Nintendo did actually have some concrete gameplay, which was fantastic. So what are the bad points? Well, there's only really one issue that I have with it, which is that a lot of their big name titles are still not coming out to 2014, and that's a real problem, I think, on Nintendo's part. You know, the big name titles, let's go through them, coming out in 2014. Bayonetta 2, 2014. X, 2014. Super Smash Brothers, 2014. Mario Kart 8, spring 2014. These games need to come out sooner, and my problem is that, you know, it's been a long time now that the Wii U has been out, and you know, pushing them back. Of course, they want to make these games as good as they can be, but you know, people are going to become impatient. And I do think that if they wanted to make the most sales and you know, in terms of marketing, they should be trying to get it out by the holiday season of 2013, for sure, because, you know, once the next gen consoles for Sony and Microsoft come out, a lot of people are going to be buying, you know, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One games, and the Wii U is going to really struggle, I think. So, you know, that's the only issue I had with it. But overall, the Nintendo Direct video was actually quite positive, and I found myself pleasantly surprised by a lot of the game titles coming out. So yeah, I thought it was a good video. It definitely was a good video. It had a lot of, you know, really key information, and a lot of the information that you wanted: release dates, titles, gameplay footage. So it was really great. So those are my overall thoughts on the Nintendo Direct. So what did you guys think of the Nintendo Direct video if you watched it? What games coming out on the Wii U are you super excited about? And yeah, so anyway, please let me know in the comments below. Answer those questions. Let me know your thoughts. And that's it. So I'll see you later. Have a great day, guys. Bye.